Psst. Have you looked at your gas receipt lately? $6? $7? Even $9 a gallon? Yeah, it hurts. But here's the kicker. You're looking at it all wrong. Because this isn't just inflation. This isn't just greedy oil companies. The world has lost 1/5 of the world's energy supply, just vanished. Poof, gone. Nearly 1.1 billion barrels of oil is stuck. That's a year's worth of production for a small country. The Strait of Hormuz, a narrow choke point between Iran and Oman, normally carries 20% of global oil. That's 17 million barrels every day. Tankers, now they sit idle. But here's the part that should scare you. We thought we were past the worst. Prices stabilized. Governments patted themselves on the back. We sighed with relief. We were wrong. A single event in a tiny, energy-rich nation just changed everything. Your daily commute, your grocery bill, your next flight, all about to get twice as expensive. Experts are now whispering the word that hasn't been used since 1973, rationing. Not just high prices, actually being told you can't buy any. Stick with me, because the future of your finances depends on understanding this one shocking event. The perfect storm. Let's rewind to February 28th, 2026. The US and Israel launched strikes against Iran. The fuse was lit. Iran didn't bomb a city, they did something smarter. They effectively closed the Strait of Hormuz. Result? A supply shock bigger than COVID, bigger than Ukraine. OPEC nations like Saudi Arabia and Iraq, they literally can't ship their oil. OPEC's production collapsed by 7.6 million barrels per day under target. Saudi alone fell 3.3 million barrels a day below target. Iraq fell another 2.8 million. The IEA says, since February, a total of 12.8 million barrels has been lost every day. That's over 1 billion barrels gone since the war started. Wall Street panicked. Brent crude peaked at $138 a barrel in early April. At the pump, US gas prices shot up over 50% in weeks. We had full-blown panic. Long lines, empty stations. The world was desperate. Russia's golden ticket. But here's the sick irony. Remember Russia? Sanctioned and struggling. Their war machine was running on fumes. Then America went to war with Iran. Global oil supply cratered, and the world needed energy from anywhere. Moscow looks at this crisis and says, "Thank you, America." Seriously. Russia's 2026 budget was built on oil at $59 a barrel. Today, prices are way higher. Every $10 increase adds nearly 1% to Russia's GDP. And the numbers are in. Russia's oil tax revenues doubled in April 2026 to roughly $9 billion in a single month. So while you're paying $80 to fill your Honda, you are partially funding the Russian military in Ukraine. Crazy, right? Pipelines and band-aids. If supply is gone, why aren't prices at $200 per barrel yet? Because of two things, pain and strategy. First, the pain. You can't buy gas if you don't have a job. The IEA says global demand is getting crushed. We're about to see the biggest drop in oil consumption since the COVID pandemic. People are driving less, airlines are canceling routes, factories are shutting down. Second, the world tried to get clever. Saudi Arabia and the UAE fired up alternative pipelines that bypass the Strait of Hormuz. The Abu Dhabi crude oil pipeline, Saudi's Petroline, sounds like a brilliant idea. Except, the strait normally moves 17 million barrels a day. These pipelines, even at full capacity, can only handle about 5 million barrels a day. That leaves an 11 million barrel hole every single day. China is playing 4D chess. They are slowing their buying, dipping into their reserves, waiting for the price to crash so they can buy cheap later. Some are sneaking oil out of Hormuz through Iran's dark fleet of oil tankers, heading to India, heading to China, and whoever is willing to risk sanctions if caught. But even that is not enough. The International Energy Agency, the IEA, stepped in and pulled out the big reserves. A coordinated release of 400 million barrels from strategic reserves. For a moment, it worked. Brent crude, which had been spiraling, settled around $116 a barrel in late April. Not cheap, but not doomsday. We breathed a sigh of relief, and with some additional fudging of the narrative by Trump's social media posts about possible Iran deals, Brent is settling at $82 a barrel today. But that is just the futures price, what the guys in suits on Wall Street think oil should be priced at. The physical barrels factories and refineries are actually buying is costing around $97 a barrel. The strategic reserve release was just a $100 billion band-aid on a gaping wound. Because while crude stabilized, something insidious happened beneath the surface. Refined fuels, diesel for trucks, jet fuel for planes. Those prices kept rocketing. Refineries in the Gulf were shut down or running at half capacity. That means your Amazon delivery, more expensive, your summer flight, pricier. The band-aid was peeling off, and the real pain was just beginning. Asia's nightmare. The consequences of that 11 million barrel shortfall, they're already hitting real people. In Asia, the world's manufacturing engine, fuel rationing is now a grim reality. Pakistan told cricket fans to watch the World Cup from home. They couldn't afford the fuel to drive to stadiums. The Philippines declared a state of national energy emergency. President Marcos went on national TV and warned that supplies are dangerously thin. This isn't just a price hike anymore, it's a physical shortage. Asia's factories are slowing down, shipping routes are being rerouted, and that means the stuff you buy, electronics, clothes, even food, is getting more expensive by the week. And remember, we haven't even talked about natural gas yet. Buckle up. The LNG problem. Just when you thought it couldn't get worse, it did. An attack on Qatar's Ras Laffan industrial city. Ras Laffan is the world's largest liquefied natural gas export facility. It handles over 77 million tons of gas per year. Unlike crude oil, LNG infrastructure is incredibly fragile. You can't just reroute it through a pipe. And when those facilities were hit, a massive chunk of global LNG supply was wiped out. Experts say repairs could take 5 years. 5 years. Why does this matter to you? Because natural gas heats homes, powers factories, and generates electricity. And Europe is already in deep trouble. After a brutal winter, Europe's gas storage levels are down to about 30%. This was before the Iran war even broke out. Normally they'd refill from Qatar. Now that tap is broken. Europe is staring down an unprecedented energy crisis, not just high prices, but potential blackouts next winter. The old playbook is empty. There are no more easy fixes, no more band-aids. This isn't just about your gas tank anymore, it's about whether you'll have heat in December. And that brings us to the most desperate gamble yet. Drilling under military bases. So what is Washington doing about all this? Desperate times call for desperate measures. The Trump administration is now studying how to drill for oil directly under U.S. military bases in the Middle East. Energy Secretary Chris Wright called the idea creative. The U.S. government would own the oil outright in the Middle East, instead of buying it from private companies. Will it solve the crisis? No. It takes years to get that oil out of the ground, but it tells you everything you need to know. They are scrambling. The Strategic Petroleum Reserve just hit 349 million barrels, its lowest level since 1983. At its peak in 2009, it held 726 million barrels. We've burned through half. The safety net is gone. They're throwing everything at the wall. The end of cheap oil and your survival guide. So let's answer the big question. Is the oil crisis of 2026 getting better? The short answer, no, but it's changing. And that change might be the push the world needed. Here's what nobody's telling you. OPEC, the cartel that controls global oil supply, just lowered its demand forecast for 2026. Why? Because high prices are destroying demand. People are driving less, airlines are canceling routes, and factories are shutting down. And the pivot to renewables is accelerating. Electric vehicle sales just jumped 15% year over year in Q1 2026. Governments are throwing subsidies at solar, wind, and batteries. This isn't the end of energy. It's the end of cheap, easy oil. And that sucks for your wallet right now. But long term, it might be the kick in the pants the world needed to finally build something better. Your survival guide for 2026 and beyond. Number 1, watch diesel prices, not just gasoline. Diesel moves everything you buy. If diesel spikes, your groceries will follow in 2 to 3 weeks. Second, if you live in Europe, start thinking about winter heating now. Insulate. Look at heat pumps. Don't wait for the crisis to hit. Third, pay attention to local EV incentives. The oil age isn't ending with a bang. It ends with a very expensive, very painful whisper. And finally, consolidate your errands. Every trip to the store costs more. Plan ahead. The world we knew, fueled by endless cheap oil, is gone. The question isn't whether the crisis is getting better. The question is, are you ready for what comes next? If you found this video interesting, subscribe to stay ahead of the curve. We'll be tracking every twist on the new energy map. Please also support us by giving us a like and check out the linked video about what happens when the Strait of Hormuz reopens. I'll see you in the next one.